Schuker, Pete Terrier, producer Sean Sendall, and Rob Sly answering the phones. This is, for the most part, a semifinal round Saturday, a couple of championship games in there. And Pete, will start right at Division I. Just another typical boring day in Derry, where the Astros come away with a victory.
Well, I'll tell you what, they were down 15-6 midway through that fourth quarter. Joey McLaughlin had just scored on a 57-yard touchdown run for Londonderry. Looked like it was going to be a Londonderry-Nashua South final next Saturday, but no. Pinkerton gets an 84-yard screen pass touchdown reception from Matt Mangano from the quarterback Ryan Simpson, and then they get the football back with about a minute left to go, kind of like Matt Castle and the Patriots the other night against the Jets. Colby Verge on a 42-yard touchdown run with 46 seconds left. Pinkerton had no timeouts, much like the Patriots the other night, and they score. They went for two. They didn't get it, but they were up by 4. Londonderry had like a last-ditch effort, but really wasn't able to generate anything in the final seconds, and Pinkerton survives. They come from behind to win a thriller 19-15. We had Brian O'Reilly. That's perhaps the most animated that I've ever heard Brian O'Reilly. He's been coaching for almost 35 years at Pinkerton.
And can you imagine being Brandon Carter tonight, knowing that you had 2 chances to pick off Ryan Simpson and put your team into the championship game? I imagine he won't be sleeping well tonight.
Well, don't blame it on Brandon Carter. I know that he had the opportunity.
That's the way he'll be seeing it, though.
The bottom line in this one is Londonderry should have been up more than 9-0 at the half like they were, and they just couldn't capitalize on some uncharacteristic Pinkerton mistakes. They should have had a bigger lead than what they did, and Pinkerton somehow, like they always seem to do, found a way. They got it done, and should be a great championship game next Saturday.
Nashua South, the rematch from last year, where Pinkerton won 14-2. That one was at Stellos. This one will, of course, be in Derry.
Yes, it will, and I can't wait, because we got another 4-hour show, noon to 4 next Saturday.
I just want this week to fly by so we can come back and do it again a week from today. Division II, top-seeded Bishop Girton Cardinals against the 4th-seed Keene Blackbirds. Another game where the 1 seed had to overcome a fourth-quarter deficit. They do it as well, 18-8 over Keene.
Well, you know what? This was a very, very weird game. I don't know what it is. Every time Keene and BG play, at least this year, it's like a game out of the Twilight Zone. The last one, we had that crazy play with the field goal block at the end where Keene picked up a loose ball, ran it down to the 1, and ended up scoring the go-ahead touchdown and the game-winning touchdown a couple plays later. They beat BG in the regular season. And then this game, we've got touchdowns in the game scored only on defense. Mike Totosian picked up a errant pitch attempt. It was a lateral. It was beyond the line of scrimmage by BG quarterback Andy Bayless. Totosian picks it off and goes the other way 23 yards. Technically a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Then BG scores. Vallis fumbles the football, and the lineman, Anthony Furlan, jumps on it in the end zone for BG's touchdown. So that wasn't exactly the defense. It was an offensive touchdown, but it was scored on a fumble recovery in the end zone. Then Andy Cunningham returns a block punt 37 yards for a score to give BG the lead, and then Kyle Endeg kind of caps it off a little bit, 10-yard interception return for a touchdown, 18-8 the final. Immediately after the game, Coach Tony Johnson goes to Tom King, our reporter on the scene, and the fine reporter for the National Telegraph, and said, "Who's next?" Well, Exeter is next. 7-6, they beat Timberlane. That was a low-scoring game, to be sure.
2 touchdowns by each, one by each team, both happening in the second quarter. Derek Fury with a 4-yard touchdown run. However, the key, as is usually the key in games like this, extra points. You have to convert on the extra point attempts. Timberlane did not do so, so they were only up 6-0. Exeter comes right back, and a 43-yard touchdown pass from Andrew Kukesh to Nick Provost ties the game at 6. However, the extra point is up and good. Exeter takes a 7-6 lead, and from there, Jeremy Levier really didn't have much else to talk about because nobody really even sniffed the end zone. Nobody really got close after that. And much the same way Exeter beat Bishop Girton in last year's championship game by blocking an extra point and then coming back and taking the lead and winning the game. Kind of the same thing here that gets them into the championship game. Yet another Cardinals and Blue Hawks championship game a week from today.
Yeah, we've seen that before, and Bishop Girton had won the first couple. Exeter comes back, gets them last year. I want to go back to that failure to convert on the point after touchdown. Timberlane, after the Fury TD run in the second quarter, they can't get it done. It ended up costing them this football game.
And how about keeping a 1,400-yard rusher to very minimum and in a 7-6 game?
Yeah.
Big.
I'm not surprised because of the field conditions.
Yeah, that's a good point. We did have 2 championship games today as well, Division III. The top seed Sauhegan Sabres of Amherst and the 2-seed Portsmouth Clippers. And this was the Sabres jumping out 21-0 on a Steve Jellison interception return, a Steve Jellison 45-yard touchdown run, and a Steve Jellison 50-yard touchdown run. It was all Steve Jellison all the time, especially in the first half.
Yeah, and hey, he scored one in the fourth quarter too. DJ Petropoulos, the quarterback to Jellison, 32-yard touchdown hookup. All told on the day, Steven Jellison's, Sean's not-so-little brother, 238 on the ground, 3 touchdowns, and an interception return for a touchdown. What a day for him. Another championship for Sauhegan. Didn't have to deal with Plymouth. They beat up on Portsmouth today, 28-14. It wasn't even that close.
And speaking of Plymouth, they were taking on Laconia in another 1-2 championship game in Division 4. Laconia, again, they got out to an early lead, had a 7-0 lead after 1, after 2, and after 3. But at the end of the game, it was Plymouth 14, Laconia 7.
Yeah, I liken this to the Pinkerton situation. They're the team that always gets it done when they need to get it done. That's exactly what happened in the land of Lenahan today. We talked to Coach Lenahan after the game, and he said that, look, these guys, my senior class, haven't trailed in a game this year, and they haven't really trailed in too many games during their 4-year career. 44 consecutive wins. This senior class at Plymouth goes undefeated.
That's probably one of the biggest stats, one of the best stats that I've ever heard. We've heard of teams that don't lose, or teams that they have all 4 seniors, or seniors all 4 years winning a championship. How about not even ever trailing or never even losing a game?
Yeah, that's a pretty good feeling, but that's the way it is in Plymouth. We got some other games quickly to get to. Pelham, they beat Kearsarge 28-6. Bruce Vieira had a punt return for a touchdown. They also returned a kickoff for a touchdown. The Pythons did. Vieira capped it off with a short touchdown run. They will take on St. Thomas next week in the D5 championship game. St. Thomas wins a close one against Trinity 21-15. The D6 games, Franklin 14-6. They beat Winnisquam. The Golden Tornadoes will take on Campbell, their first ever postseason win in their short program history. Just 5 years for the Campbell Cougars. They've been in the playoffs 3 times, but this is the first time they're able to taste victory in the month of November. Kyle Canada, a couple of touchdowns in the game, both of them through the air.
Pete, what do you say we do this again in about a week?
I think we can handle that.
I think we probably should. This is setting up for 4 great matchups.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll have you covered noon to 4 right here on Sports Radio WGAM The Game and online WGAMradio.com.
Everything that we had today for Pete Terrier, Sean Sendall, and Rob Sly, I'm Chris Shuka. This was a Super Saturday edition of Friday Night Lights on Sports Radio WGAM The Game.
This is the WGAM High School Sports Network.